everybody. I'm Elizabeth Walker. I run marketing and publicity for ILMxLAB. If you're not familiar, we're a part of Lucasfilm and Disney focused on immersive entertainment, so VR, mixed reality, other stuff like that. I think in general, going through the process for the VR awards was quite easy compared to a lot of other award submissions that we do, particularly because it's focused around virtual reality by people who understand and work in the medium. I think, other places were kind of being retrofitted as an entertainment focus, but they're not necessarily with people who work in our medium. So the requirements and things that they ask for don't always necessarily work for our kinds of projects. So one of the nice things I think about working with this organization is that everything makes sense for our medium, and it really enables you to have a stronger application. We, last year, I think submitted for 5 or 6 different categories. I think Luke had mentioned earlier, encouraging you to, apply for any that might seem to make sense. And I would, echo that statement, whatever is reasonable and within people's means. For us, it's, the cost to enter for the different categories is manageable. So we were able to, sort of spread our submissions out in different areas. And I think that in turn enabled us to get more nominations and awards than, obviously if we had just selected one. We picked sort of our 2 largest projects within the time frame that the VR Awards sent. So we had CARNE y ARENA, which is more of a VR installation, typically museum-based. That was directed by Alejandro Inarritu, and we worked on that project with Legendary Entertainment. It is a socially motivated project, tells the story of a group of immigrants trying to reach the U.S. border from varying Central American countries. And it's definitely a very powerful story. So that was one of our projects. And then the other one is Star Wars Secrets of the Empire. And I will note that actually both of these are location based. So, they're very, very different projects. Secrets of the Empire is certainly, sort of traditional commercial entertainment, and CARNE y ARENA is absolutely not. But, we wanted to focus on these 2 projects as they were our major efforts in 2017. For Secrets of the Empire, we worked with a company called The Void, and they are definitely our partner on that project. So for CARNE y ARENA, we worked a little bit more in silo internally on that, and then for Secrets of the Empire, we worked with our leadership in The Void to get our submissions together. Because CARNE and Secrets of the Empire are both location based, we made sure that we were submitting in different categories as might make sense. The awards that we won for CARNE y ARENA was VR Film of the Year, and Star Wars Secrets of the Empire was Out of Home. So for example, we didn't submit both of those projects to Out of Home, even though they technically both were, because we wanted to make sure that we were focusing our efforts in a manner that made sense for us, and sort of our priorities around what we would, hope to, awards we would hope to garner with that. Thinking through kind of what we did, one thing that was helpful was we actually went through, we identified each of the categories that we wanted to submit to and which project we thought would be most appropriate. And then we went through the VR Awards submissions portal and pulled out all of the different fields and the descriptions and dropped everything into an Excel spreadsheet so that we could sort of track everything across all of the different submissions and different projects. We found that to be really helpful versus going back in and trying to, everything is on, different pages, and there's categories, I think Luke mentioned this earlier, but like most of the categories on the first page are the same. There's slight differences, I think, in a couple scenarios, but from there it sort of branches out based on the different categories. So it was really helpful for us to have a document which aggregated everything. But then from there, certainly there was some continuity, especially in the sort of opening questions that were the same. But even for the different projects, we wanted to make sure that we were curtailing and customizing the information for the category. So we, took a lot of time being very thoughtful around how we were positioning the project for the category and within that, each specific field, which I think was very helpful. And we definitely brought in, I think, appropriate studio and creative leadership to make sure that we were, that positioning was correct and as detailed as possible. I think another thing that helped us is that we had a lot of existing assets and other materials to aggregate for the submission. So for us, it was relatively easy to go ahead and submit. So, I think I obviously don't have any insight into what everybody is putting together for this, but I would encourage you to think around, do you have a robust set of materials, from press to videos, could be a trailer, could be behind the scenes, screenshots, all those kinds of things to help support what you are verbalizing. Because I think having stuff, especially things that are third party, that can help sort of reinforce everything that you're putting into your submission is definitely helpful. And then, oh shoot, I had one other point and I just sort of lost it. For us, we're based in San Francisco, and we happen to have somebody in London who was sort of our representative. He's one of our executives on the creative side here. So I can only kind of speak to the event through his experience, but I know that it sounded like it was a great evening. And again, I think having the industry focus is really great. There's not a lot of times where we can really get together in the VR industry with a lot of the movers and the shakers. So I think from that perspective, it had a lot of great attendees and stuff like that. The process from, nomination to the awards and things was really very simple, great communication. We were notified immediately upon notifications. And the, Luke and team does a great job with social media. They brought assets and things like that they kick out and posts, and everything was tagged correctly. So everything was great from there. I did remember the other thing I was going to bring up, which is actually, even, and this is more, some of this is us being a little bit handheld, but as far as getting exposure to, for the judges to the content, that is always sort of a challenge. And I'd say something for everybody to think about and make sure that they have a perspective on. For us, we don't do, for example, like we get a lot of requests to do like, oh, can you just provide a playthrough capture of your location-based experience? And we don't do that because for some, the two projects that I mentioned, CARNE y ARENA and Secrets of the Empire, our perspective is that it would actually do a disservice to the content because it is in no way representative of the experience to see a playthrough video of any of these kinds of experiences. So we had to work with Luke and team to figure out how do we get judges into the content. It certainly is a challenge, especially for location-based, because geographically, all of this stuff is quite limited right now. That's not a unique problem for us, but I would encourage everybody to think about and have a perspective on how they want to go through that process and how they can enable judges to see the content. It's obviously easier with home VR experiences, especially ones that are out, but if it's not, that's also something to think about as well. We also did an AMA in alt space with Ben Snow, who was the visual effects supervisor on Secrets of the Empire, and Ian Bowie, who is our lead experience designer. So yeah, this was actually a super fun thing. When did we do this? Was it in, I think it was in February. Full disclosure, I was on vacation when it happened, but I know it was a really great experience. You know, invited interested parties in the industry to come, you know, into this AMA that was within alt space. Hopefully everybody's familiar with that app, but it is sort of a virtual meeting space for people. Everybody has an avatar, that kind of stuff. So they set up an AMA, and I know our Ian and Ben were super excited about it. It's just an opportunity for you know, Luke, I'll let you speak to sort of the attendees since you kind of kicked out the invite, but that was something that was fun, and it was a nice sort of sustained thing outside of the awards, which were last fall, that we did this February. And again, it was super easy to put together, and it was the photos afterwards were awesome too. So everybody had their sort of little avatars. They looked like actual Ben and Ian, which was really cute.
Obviously, since then we've obviously launched AIXR, so I think we did an insights case study with you as well.
Oh yeah, gosh, we've done a lot of stuff. Yeah, so we did that was another thing. It's available on the website right now, but that was something that Ben put together, Ben Snow, VFX supervisor, put together for Secrets of the Empire as well, where it was, you know, a written case study around, you know, what we did with Secrets of the Empire. I you know, think it's quite interesting as well, and that was another nice sustainment activity for the project and through the award ceremony. Perspective is, you know, on the award, this specific, you know, awards opportunity is that, you know, there's not a lot of dedicated VR industry awards right now. And, you know, we really appreciate and believe in what this organization is doing. So for us, it's important to invest, you know, in a more robust manner than we might do for other awards outside of this opportunity. So, you know, and you know, frankly, it's a little more affordable than other ones. So for this, you know, it was within our budget to submit it to multiple categories. And again, it's important for us to, you know, be as represented as we can amongst the nominees and, you know, hopefully the winners. So for us, it was, you know, just evaluating which categories we thought made sense based on the information that's provided on the website, and coming together with a strategy around what made sense for us. You know, it's going to be different for everybody, of course, but that's just a little bit of our thinking around it.